Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tuesday. Yep, that's what it is. It is Tuesday.
The third month in the year of 25.
Yeah,
First Tuesday of the month.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Get to the store.
Honey, we're going drinking. It's the first Tuesday of the month.
Oh, butter
Can't
on
cancel.
sale.
It's
Right, yeah.
For the
some
terrace.
butter.
Is it butter sale today?
Oh, big time.
All right.
Every Tuesday, first Tuesday of the month, you got to go stock up. What is it, 10?
Pinder doesn't know he lives downtown.
I know, and you know what? Money doesn't matter.
No.
Any day's butter buying day for the Pinder house.
If you say so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, dude.
Today's a fine butter day. Any day. This program, this show, a presentation of Bet365, the world's largest sports betting platform. We love it.
Sure do.
We love it.
Sound just went out, though.
Did it?
Now it's in. Oh, you just turned your head. Remember
that's-
you give me shit?
That's how low your headphones are.
Wow.
That when if I'm even just a little bit off mic.
Well,
No.
Then it's totally
It's
gone.
always on.
But no, you want to
Stay
be on the mic, right? You want to be on the mic.
Stay on your mic, Dean.
Download the app today. Use the promo code. I mean, if you haven't signed up.
what are you doing here?
If you took your glasses off, could you?
Yeah, I'd probably give you the stink eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, through my watering eyes. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. And of course, as you know, Super Chat. If you're in the YouTube as we go live, you got a comment, you want to get it on the show, we'll do it. If you just take a little bit of dough and throw it in the Super Chat, we then move that money over to the good folks at the Youth Centers of Calgary. Here on a Calgary Flames game day where we get our helmets on a game day in the city of brotherly love.
You love this city.
I
Big
do
fan.
like Philly.
Yep.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know why.
Because Jack's from Pittsburgh, huge rivalry.
That's right.
He hates
Just to-
Jack, so he's
just
got
to-
to love Philly.
Yeah.
That's
just
part of the
jack
deal.
off.
Yeah.
Jack off. This road trip is probably starting for the Flames to feel like a little. It's like ready to go home.
Ready to get back there?
Philly, after being at the beach, stuff.
That first game, big win. Washington, they're all big swinging dicks, tops in the league. Whoop-de-doo.
Screw
Hey,
you, man.
big win.
Told everyone we got more talent in this room than everyone knows about. Everyone counted us out, huh?
Then they would go on to score one goal in the next 3 hockey games.
It was not a power play.
Would you call it punches in the face? Like they got punched in the face in Florida?
Repeatedly punched in the face because it was 3 games.
Yeah.
And now
Now it's Philly.
you've gone to Philly.
And now you basically have to win
And
this.
you're
or
not,
people are
you're
gonna
not allowed to
just be
smile
mad
or
at
have
you.
fun because this is a
No.
kind
Must
of
win.
Yeah.
No.
In that room, this is a must win. I mean, for fans or you and I and whatever sort of goals you have for this team, for them, they got to win this one.
Coaches are definitely going to be preaching, fellas.
It's the only non-contender on the whole trip.
Fellas.
Well,
This is a team below us in the standings.
Frost and Farabee wound right up. Oh, baby.
Yeah, they are champing at the bit.
Well, and then on the other side,
I don't think he gets wound up.
Kuzmenko or Pelche?
Kuzcat is
Kuzia will just be
cool.
telling extra jokes, extra smiles, extra
Yeah.
broken English. Just
Let's take a
extra
look.
chatty.
Kuzcat might not play.
We talk about, come on, Kuzcat's been good.
Second
Kuzcat?
line. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
The Kuzcat's been all right.
All right.
He's got,
3 points in 5 games.
4 in his last 6.
Where are we
He's
at with
playing
the
well.
bet? Is that ended?
Where is the bet?
He's probably at 5 goals. I'm cooked. He's
Oh,
only
yeah.
scored once in Philly. Yeah, I'm cooked. What was it? A spicy hot sandwich? That place closed down. Guess we
Can
can't
I
do the
pull
bet.
out like at 365? You can get the early
Yeah, I don't
cash
know.
out payment.
I'd wait if I
Sure.
were you. I don't
Feel
know if there's
comfortable.
any.
Reason to
They'd probably be giving you full freight right now
gonna say,
anyway.
I'll-
They
I'll
know
eat
it's over. as
3/4 of a chicken.
well. For those who don't know what the hell we're talking about, the bet was now Kuzmenko was a Flame at the time.
It sure was.
But you guys made a over-under bet, number of goals this season
He
for
was off to
Andre
that
Kuzmenko.
dreadful start, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was like, okay, well, this is the same guy with all the same skills that scored 39 as a rookie, and it was a half goal a game with the Flames down the stretch. And yes, he's fallen out of favor, but he's just a heater away from getting right back on track.
Right
and
there.
3 months later, he's still a heater away, and he's nowhere near on track. Multiple heaters away.
And last year on the power play, he kind of made that thing sing near the end of the season. That
Oh,
power
you
play
were
really
loving
kind of came alive with him.
Yeah, sometimes we need to step back and remember that the last 20 games of a lost season really do fool us all the
Don't
time.
Don't get judgy on
Like
Games that
when
don't matter.
Joel
Good or
Colburn got
bad.
to 19 goals and
Yeah.
every fourth shot was going in, and we convinced ourselves that, Spencer Fu was an NHLer. All kinds of crazy things happened in the last 20 games
Zadorov
of the year.
hat tricks.
Zadorov hat tricks.
Yeah.
Jankowski 4-goal games.
Careful.
All kinds of weird shit in the last 20 games of lost seasons.
Well, let's see what we go to the Bet365 line for this game
Oh,
tonight.
yeah,
Take a look at now the Flyers 4-0-1 in their last 5.
Favored.
Game 1 of a 7-game homestand. For
Oh,
the
wow.
Flyers.
That's huge.
It is season
I don't-
long, obviously.
Don't know
So
if the
they're
Flames have a 7-gamer.
just getting comfy. You know what they did? They unpacked their whole. Maybe sometimes you keep a bag sort of kind of packed.
Mhm.
Oh, we're home for a couple. Then they unpacked the whole thing.
Suitcases in the closet, right?
Yeah. So there you see it. They are favored. They are at home. Probably shouldn't be shocking.
I was a little surprised, but I didn't know they were playing that well. I mean, there's only 3 points separating these teams, I think, in the standings.
One win. Yeah, it's.
And look, like, if the Flames losing their last 3 is not surprising. It's 3 of the best teams in the league they just played. It's more the fashion of it that feels more demoralizing
How are
than
the
them actually
Flyers
losing.
doing it? Is it?
Doing what? Like they're 9th from the bottom?
Yeah, but I thought you just said how close are they to?
Well, here's the
Flames?
thing.
3 points.
So they're
4
9th from the bottom. They're bad, but then the Flames are really good.
No one's saying the Flames are good.
Okay, but then how are the Flyers only 3 points back of the Flames? Is it a similar? Like it's not goaltending.
They're both pretty mid, aren't they?
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
I think they've got some nice parts, but they're missing a superstar, and they're not getting the goaltending the Flames are. So they're doing it quite differently. I think they can actually score.
Torts got him working. Like what?
He's benching his best players and being irritable, and they're talking about trading their captain.
I saw a
Torts.
thing. They had kind of an inside locker room thing, and he was it was weird, being very complimentary. He's like, the way you guys played this last game, like he was keep this up. This is how we play. Is this Torts? Who's wearing the Torts mask? So yeah, 4-0-1 in their last 5. In the 5 games prior to that, 0-4-1. So it all kind of
Comes out in the wash.
Yeah, it kind of does this sort of thing. Yeah.
Well, they got Konechny leading the way. He was on Team Canada. I don't know that he wowed us there, but he made that team, which is impressive. He's over
60,
a point per game.
Yeah, he's got 63 and 61, leads the team as well in goals with 22. I like him.
Yep. Flames liked him that draft year too.
Yeah, you know what he is? He's a shirt disturber.
Yep. And coming off a rough year, but
Is
they
he?
just extended him.
Always every game.
I think it's tough for everybody to be every game, except Corey Perry. He's a jerk every night. Even when he doesn't, you just know.
Dirty D.
Yeah. It's like he didn't even play tonight. Still an asshole. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
He just like knocks popcorn out of people's hands in the press box.
They also have a guy named Matvei Mishkov, who is the rookie of the month.
I'd have pegged this Calder.
Probably not.
10 points in his last 6, leading the way for rookies in goals, power play goals, second in points.
And will not be a Calder finalist because of how good the competition is this year.
You don't think?
Nope.
Won't
Hudson
be a
just hit
finalist.
60 points, and Wolf has been exceptional
Fastest
as a
ever
rookie
as
goalie.
a Habs defense.
Yeah, like nuts stuff from all 3 of those. And Celebrini, the numbers are solid, but the way that an 18-year-old is bodying men around and winning puck battles, you don't see that from rookies. It's wild.
Does the San Jose factor in all those Eastern people that vote? Do they stay up to watch the Sharks?
Nope, because he's -2 something to win it, and the field's +2 something.
Yeah,
he's going to win it if it ends today. He's going to have to get hurt to not win the
Wolf.
Calder.
You sieve.
Yeah, Wolf's done all he can do.
Not enough, Ryan.
not enough.
He needs to be better than the best rookie season we've seen since. For goalies, can we remember a better rookie performance? I don't know.
Well, Steve Mason won the Calder.
There's been some guys that have won it.
Thanks.
3 in the 2010s, nothing since.
There's been some guys that have
No,
won
I
it.
just don't know that any of them were the studs. Like, can you name the other 2? I can't.
I didn't know there was going to be a test.
No, I'm not throwing the test. I'm just.
You did actually challenge him.
But did Mason turn into anything more than just a guy? Like, I feel like this is different.
This is really taking a spin.
I don't know what I feel like I'm backed into a corner.
Well,
here.
no one attacked Rhett for saying Wolf should do more, but you're going to jump on me because I'm saying Wolf's been good.
But
Yeah.
apparently not today. Okay.
No, I just said Bishkov is good, and you said
Not going to be a finalist.
okay. And I asked about San Jose, and you
Been great.
okay. Where should we go? What do you want to do?
We got the bets. You want to do the bets? We showed you the lines. What bets are we going to make tonight? Right? You got your bets in?
Nope.
Ryan, you got a bet?
I got a bet. Let's go
I
get it.
can't remember my.
So we on this show know how things work. When former players play former teams.
Oh, yeah.
And so here are two bets. This is anytime goals for tonight's contest. Under Kuzmenko plus 325. Morgan Frost plus 375. It feels like one of those hits. Maybe I'm crazy. Frost sticking it to the old team. Goofy Kuzmenko scoring against the Flames because, of course, he would. If you wanted to parlay those because you're a maniac, plus 1,800.
All right.
Do it.
No, yeah. What do you?
Well,
There's other names there. What do you want, Dino?
No, I'm good.
I want Mitch.
The Flames have lost 3 in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they got a point in the last one, so it's okay.
Winless in 3.
1 goal in 3.
Yeah.
They'd never been shut out 3 games in a row in their franchise history. That was pretty close.
They could have been. Yep.
They've already beaten Philly once this year. Remember? Home
Second game
opener?
of the year? Yeah.
6-3.
Oh, yeah.
6.
Piling them up.
That's when they could score 4 goals. Remember that?
Easy peasy.
Yeah,
They
that's-
rallied and scored 5 or 6 in Vancouver. They scored 6 the next game, Philly at home. Then they went to Edmonton and scored 4. Who are these maniacs that started 5-0?
Yeah.
You could
Yeah.
score?
So you're not.
The scoring is going to be fine, but the defense and goaltending is going to be the question for this team moving forward.
This Dan Vladar got yarded early.
Nailed it. Nailed it.
Again.
Yeah. So
Just
smart.
crushed it.
Yeah. Just
Early.
crushed it.
80.5 points over under. Nope, not hitting it. Can't get close. All of us took the under.
It's still possible.
They're going to
that
clear
one.
the over.
Is it?
Well, I mean, they're on pace to probably.
There's,
Yeah,
yeah,
5.
they'd definitely be on pace, but there's still an outside chance.
They'd have to hit some serious skids, which is kind of something they haven't done until the last 3. And
Well, they lose tonight.
yeah, for sure.
Lose tonight. I don't
It's
have
the
much hope
makings of a skid. Yeah.
For sure, it does.
Dallas.
And that's why this has to feel like a must win, because you can excuse your way out of losing to the 3 teams you just lost to. They're very, very good teams. They're cup contenders. This is not. And guess who you play on Thursday on your way home? Another cup contender in Dallas.
Just down the road there. In
Yeah,
Dallas.
just what's that state rival in Pennsylvania? Dallas, Texas.
Yeah, just across state
border
lines
cities,
there.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're hopeful, but are you're such a Philly fan, like
Right.
not fan, but lover of the town.
Yeah. I love.
Is it a pull at your heartstrings or who to cheer for?
Not really.
No,
Um.
you don't cheer anyway. You're unbiased.
It's unbiased and kind of don't care.
Oh, but
Part of
it's
that.
a 5 o'clock start, so that's good, right?
Is 5 or 5:30? What is?
Wow,
it?
what
5.
Yeah.
early.
5.
She's a fighter.
She's a 5. Or
That works for you, doesn't
in
it?
some places. 5 start tonight.
Okay.
Uh.
They've got 3 guys on the trade block, which is interesting.
I don't even know who's all on their team. Who's the trade block guys? Connect me.
No, they just locked him up and they like him. They're going to keep him for the next probably 6-7
The
years.
guy that everybody wants. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
The guy you don't want to
The
trade.
goal or the defenseman. I saw his name.
Ristolainen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's the big right shot first rounder from Buffalo that kind of feels like Zadorov light. Like he's never really been what they wanted or drafted him for, but he's big, serviceable,
Yep.
less roller coaster than Zadorov. Right shot. Couturier and Lawton, their names have been out there. Lawton, especially, he's a pending UFA. Center, big.
Yeah, it's kind of like like you had said. They're both kind of mid. A lot of the players on these teams feel kind of mid. It doesn't feel like there is a burgeoning superstar anywhere.
Mishkov
within.
probably,
Yeah,
but not
fair
this
enough.
year because
Yeah.
Torts has been smothering him
And you could say Wolf, I guess, is
for sure.
falls into that.
That's
but just
fair.
in
Yeah.
terms of high draft picks. Although Mishkov, I mean,
They like this Tyson Forster. They got him playing with Noah Cates and Bobby Brink. Brink was a first rounder, I think, the Pelche year.
Names I've never heard.
their names. Yeah.
They're all first
They're
rounders.
young players.
Okay, now there's a good thing. So
Because we
they
talked
have
about it
first
yesterday.
rounders, and we talked about first rounders. Yeah, are these good
Yeah.
first rounders?
I don't think they have a star in there. I think Mishkov's their star, and they got him 7. He slid from out of the top
Slid,
5
yeah.
because of the
I
Russia
was
stuff
worried,
and
yeah.
a contract with SK St. Petersburg.
Yeah, because the Flyers, they were kind of in that. Because you mentioned those names.
They're mucky middle.
Those were all highly touted guys.
Brink was like mid-20s. I don't remember where Cates and Forster were.
They took Jet Lachenko
They like him
in the
too.
past draft. That's the thing. There hasn't
They
been enough
picked
time
high
for them
last
not to
year.
like it, right?
Well, and he was a higher guy too, right?
So
Like,
13th, Mishkov at 7. They took Cutter Gauthier at 5, and he said, I hate Philly. It's not like me.
he wouldn't return his calls to Danny
Yeah.
Briere, so they got Jamie Drysdale for him.
Yeah. Forster, 23rd overall in 2020. Cam York is a guy that's playing well for them right now. Was a 14th overall. Farabee, 14. Nolan Patrick. Ouch.
That's the one.
Probably
That's
the
the
one,
one.
right?
If you got Cale McCarr there or Miro Heiskanen, you feel a lot differently about this team. And
Yeah.
that's probably what cost Hextall his job, even though it wasn't like it was a off the board pick. It was kind of consensus. That he didn't even go at 1. Geez, we'll take him at 2 for sure.
How did that? How?
Yeah.
Because you can say it was injuries, but it wasn't working out even without the injuries. was
Before
it?
the migraine stuff, yeah. Weird, very weird. Didn't like pizza.
Yeah. Second overall pick. He sure goes at 1 to New Jersey. Then they take Patrick. And then it's Miro Heiskanen and Cale McCarr. And to this point, it felt like
Jeez.
Elias Pettersson would have
Yep.
been a much better pick as well.
Yeah, rewind the clock 16 months. You're like, he
Yeah.
goes 2 after, well,
So who in
3
that
after the
top
team.
10 is a star?
McCarr,
Cale McCarr.
Heiskanen,
Heiskanen, yeah.
Pedersen
Is
on
he
that.
sure?
He's just a really good number 2 center. He's their captain. I love him as a player, but he's not going to wow you with the offensive
Gotcha,
numbers.
yeah.
So who would a good example of that be? Like the number 2 center on a championship team? That's where I'd slot him.
It's hard when the guy taken 4th overall is already being mentioned in the same breath as the best
It's Bobby
players
Orr.
to ever play the position.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
And-
Cody
and you
Glass
can-
is right there. I see. I can see
Mhm.
his name.
You can live with it in Dallas because Heiskanen is a franchise player. But yeah, Cale McCarr is the greatest defenseman most of us will watch in our lives.
Yeah.
In like digital TV or HD TV.
puck hog.
So who deserves the? Because I mean, Colorado takes him at 4. Congratulations, great job.
Mm-hmm. But where was he playing?
UMass.
No,
Brooks was the
Brooks
year before?
Bandit.
Brooks.
Is it out of Brooks they drafted him?
Mhm.
I thought it was UMass. Jeez, that's
Well, he
wild.
went to UMass.
Yeah,
After,
that's because you're right. Taking a guy to the AJ, there's huge questions about the strength of
right?
competition.
Like
It's
that's
tough. Credit the scouts.
It's like, this guy's amazing. Yeah, he is. In the A, not the American League. The
yeah. There's
AJ.
not. I would think that he's the only AJHL player to ever go top 5.
For sure.
Like
I know that. Yeah, that was kind
that's
of.
not. I'm not trying to be.
No, not at all.
that's- You're not even going to get looked at.
Kyle
enough.
Turris went in the top 5 out of the BC League. It happens
Mhm.
rarely to a junior A guy goes that high, but it does happen. Not like you'd watch Kyle Turris and be like, we got to go do that again, though. Kind of didn't
No.
really pan out.
He played a long
Decent.
time.
He was
But,
decent.
you know.
He was, yeah, like a skilled center. I don't know.
So New Jersey, Philly, and to a lesser extent Dallas, because I think Heiskanen is fine. But
Yeah,
if you
like
were going to have one, you're probably taking McCarr. There's
Yeah.
some sleepless nights there.
Yeah.
I would think for
Mhm.
some head scouts or
Yeah, Brooks. Wow. 75 points in 54 games as a 17-year-old.
Cale.
Come home.
Just come home. Come on. Has he got 1 year left?
I think they can extend
Can
him
you
next summer.
imagine
he's
how
got
good the dollar
two-
will be?
Oh
years
my
left.
gosh. We talked about Seth Jones getting the big pay
Yeah,
raise
the
going. Come up here, make that sweet, sweet American money.
Oh, yeah.
Pay that horrendous Canadian dollar wherever you go, at the tank, at the grocery store.
Oh.
You know what? He can probably get butter any time of the month.
Yes,
He's
he
not
could.
waiting for Tuesdays.
Buy us butter.
Probably could. And I would bet the butter's better here than in Denver.
Way better.
You don't want that. I mean, the dairy is far inferior, Cale. Come on home.
You think Kale's drinking dairy? He's got Nathan McKinnon in his sphere.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's
Not sure
straight,
how that works.
straight chewing on kale.
You think
all
it's
day.
some soy or some coconut or
Something.
almond milk?
Something my wife would buy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she should go on Tuesday when it's cheaper.
She probably does. I don't
Oh.
know. Yeah.
So anyway, getting back to the original point, the Flyers had a lot of those number 1 picks, but they all kind of felt it's probably unfair. But from Frost to Farabee to Bobby Brink,
But
and
here's
Forster and all that, first rounders.
Mhm.
But outside of Mishkov, it doesn't feel like there's a
Okay.
game changer in
Yeah,
that.
maybe
group.
Luchenko is. They like him, but he's 18.
Is that why they're where they are and the Flames are as well? Because we have a lot of first round guys we mentioned yesterday, and we're mid.
If you look at where both of these teams the last decade had finished, you'd have a lot of picks between 13 and 25.
Remember, we would talk to Al Morganti, and he would say there's some similarities between these two.
Yeah.
They're never they
They're
rarely
never bad
bottom right
enough.
out.
Yep. And so you don't get your
And-
superstars.
They rarely make any noise in the playoffs.
Whereas the
When did the Flyers? Was it the first Chicago Cup? Patrick Kane along the ice
Pronger.
into the net.
Pronger from
didn't know if it was
Kane?
in or not. I was
Yeah.
in Penticton, BC, and we were cheering because we knew Duncan Keith was bringing the cup.
Right?
Kane from Brian Campbell.
Was it?
Really good for him.
I don't think Campbell had a lot to do with it. He gave Kane the puck.
But like,
Yeah.
one of the things you say when I talk about being bad for a while is like you make it sound simple. This is not simple. There is nothing simple about winning a cup. If there
Well,
was
you
an
make it
easy way to do it, you'd have everyone winning cups all the time. So what you really have to do is look at the rosters that do win cups and say, what do they have in common? And almost all of them have multiple top 5 picks that are homegrown. Chicago, for example, you got Taves and Kane. Pittsburgh, you got Malkin, you got Fleury, you got Crosby. LA Kings, okay, a little exception to the rule, but you have Drew Doughty, who I believe was 2.
What was Kopitar? He was
Kopitar was, I think, 11 or something.
Or at
10.
least you've had one of those guys that has elevated his play to where if you redrafted, that's a top 5
yeah,
talent.
and so
from
you
that
can look at the
draft.
draft slot, you can just look and say these are like they're not generational guys, but they're superstars. And it's just you can look at the probabilities. It's all out there. People have studied the last 30 drafts. The highest percentage chance you're getting a superstar is clearly with the first overall pick. The top 5 has a pretty good hit rate, and then it falls off a cliff for superstars. Now you're talking about stars, and your percentage of an NHLer drops to about 50% when you get into the end of the first round in the mid-20s. So I'm not saying like follow these 3 easy steps and you're going to win a Stanley Cup. What I am saying is all these cup winners have superstars with very few exceptions. And one of the exceptions would be St. Louis, which is one of the wildest things. We'll never see it again. Last place, January 4th in the NHL, win the cup that year. So there's your outlier. If you want to try to build a Stanley Cup winner with the St. Louis model, good luck. It's happened once. And all the others have superstars. So you either dominate late in the draft and find a Pasternak in the 20s or a Patrice Bergeron in the second round or Ryan O'Reilly in the second round, or like most of the teams that have won most of the cups of the last 2 decades, you need to draft superstars.
Yeah, go to Brooks and find some stars.
Mhm.
The scout's job is to do that. The kids don't have to play in League X or Y. Their job is to say, what's this guy projected as a 25-year-old man? And they nailed it in Colorado for sure.
So then the challenge becomes getting into the top 5.
Or just understanding that 7 is significantly better than 13 is better than 20 is
Well,
better
everyone
than 20.
I would be
Everyone
okay with
understands that, but it's kind of like
So you
with this Flames team. If we'd rather have pick 3 than 13.
Yeah.
So how do you get 3 if your goaltending is
Can't
here?
this
And
year. Yeah. And so that's where
and it's
like the way I find it intriguing about it is like the teams behind the Flames, a lot of them are getting a lot better. Like, I don't think Buffalo's going to be bad the next 3 years. I don't think Columbus
Buffalo's
is going to be
bad if Adams F's it up now. Like
Yeah, I
there's lots of
agree.
talk
but
about making changes and stuff, but for me, it's like you better just.
the other thing is too, and I think Rasmus Dahlin is a very good player. Obviously, the jury's out on Owen Power. The years that they managed to hit the number 1 spot, even if it's Celebrini, even if it's like it's certainly Bedard had much more fanfare, but there wasn't a ton of
Ike was
elation
great,
for
but they fought
Owen
with him.
Power.
No,
right?
it was a bad year.
I watched
COVID
Owen
year.
Power play
Yeah,
the other day.
A guy.
A guy.
yeah.
And
He
you know
might
what?
be a guy you want to take a stab at.
There are some defensemen that go high that are just guys. Like Branson's a top 5. If you
Aaron
want to
Ekblad's
fall
a
in
good
love,
defenseman, but he's not a
superstar.
he's not a Norris winner,
No.
and he went number 1.
Yeah. But Buffalo, again, what the guy they're missing is the guy they traded away because they got in a spat with him and wouldn't let him have his surgery, and it had gotten toxic at that point. Jack Eichel's what they're missing. I don't know if he was a leader of men as soon as they wanted him to be, but when you watched him win with the Vegas Golden Knights, he was sensational in that postseason, and he's a star in this league. All these other guys are very good young players you'd like to have, but who's their
You
superstar?
traded a star for a group of players.
For Alex Tuck, Peyton Krebs, and a first. And they're going to move Tuck at the deadline probably because he's all of a sudden up at the end of
He's
next
a
year.
hurt bag. He needs
For
to-
Jamal Mayers and Nick Hagman and Matt Stajan.
But so I kind of agree with you. I don't think Kevin Adams has a lot of rope there. I think he wants to do stuff, but he's afraid of trading Eichel again because all these good young players are good players. And the last thing you want to do is move Owen Power and watch him turn into a, every year, 25-minute a night for a decade and a half guy. It's not that yet.
No, he's not. And he's still young.
They're afraid of that, right?
Who wears the goat horns on that?
Owner.
On what?
Buffalo?
Power? There was
on Eichel, just how it obviously deteriorated fast. He was tired of losing. He was maybe
I think
immature
that a lot of
bit.
it comes back. They say the neck thing. I think they're just fed up with each other.
Yeah,
The
they were looking for a way to break up. It all comes back to ownership for me because that clearly was not an environment to bring an 18-year-old star into. And that's when it went sour. Just like Taylor Hall in Edmonton. They didn't have leaders around them. Like if you have a competitive team,
But darn,
it probably goes really well for Eichel. But they sucked every single year he was there. So of course it didn't go well.
there was one plan and only one plan. There's only been one plan in the last 15 years, and that was McDavid. They didn't get McDavid and
They
everything.
tanked
else.
so hard. They had 2 goalies catch hot streaks. They traded them immediately. It was wild how
And then
hard
the years they
tanked.
got to pick first. I think Darlene's a hell of a player, but
I agree.
But you had 2 number 1 picks. And
3.
you look at it.
Yeah,
and,
Power, Darlene, and Eichel.
well, Eichel was 2.
Oh, sorry, Eichel's 2. Yeah. They bottomed out that worst
Yeah.
team by a mile. Yeah, thank you.
So your fan base, all right.
we're buying
We're
into
gonna-
it.
All right, let's bottom right out. Let's get some top picks. All right.
Yeah. And I still think if you look for the next 10 years, like I think Buffalo's going to have a really good team for a lot of those years. There's just too much skill not to, and they're going to get the right coach finally.
I don't disagree that they've got skill, but their skill isn't. I think Powers will get better, and Darlene's good. They're bound to improve, but is their skill level so high that why are they going to be?
Just because that when you
Because here's the problem: is that we all think that these kids are young.
Yeah.
They're not young. Like Tate Thompson is not. I mean, they aren't old,
Mhm.
and they might even be the youngest team in the league.
They are.
But they have a lot of games played. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a difference between young. I've got
Well, Power
50
was the
games.
2020 draft, right?
It was the COVID year, which screwed everything up because you just didn't know. Like some guys are playing.
So that's
some
5
weren't.
years ago. I mean,
One of the COVID years.
Yeah.
He went back to college instead of come out right away.
so anyway, we're not here to talk to you about the Sabres today. We're not here
No,
to do that.
But again, that is the thing when you say pick high, you're like, yeah, but what about the Sabres? Like, well, that was probably the worst run franchise in the league. So don't be that. Be a well-run franchise.
They didn't try to be bad, Ryan. Jeez.
Well, did you like their GMs and coaching
I
selections? or
liked
not?
them as people.
Did you like them as coaches and GMs?
Well,
Give
But
us
does
the
that-
honest
but does that
report
affect-
card.
Does that affect who you draft, though?
Of course it does. I mean,
well,
it
no,
affects
no.
everything.
Now stop. This is where it did get sketched. Did they not have scouts for a while? Wasn't it all video scouting? They had some weird plans. at times.
Their front office turned over so many times. I don't know if there was a functional one in there. Like it was a first-time GM, and then it was a guy that never worked in hockey ops, and then they're bringing in this coach that's not going to work, and that coach that wasn't qualified. Like it's been a shit show from
They
a
did
management
just do
perspective.
video scouting for a while.
So would you call that a really sound, well-run organization?
No,
To
because
just
you got to have
gas
the eye
scouts?
test, Ryan.
You need all the stuff, more
Got to
information.
have the eye test. You can't go to Brooks and go, oh, he had
I feel
70
like that would
points.
be-
He's going to be good.
I feel like that might be one of the things you would implement, though. It's like, we don't need to go. It's all video. Which is AI this shit.
Oh, I was all for them.
Yeah,
Why the
yeah.
would you pay to these guys travel around? This is bullshit.
But that's the fear. I know we're off track, but that is the fear when people say.
Well, we
just
could
pick
break
high.
down the Philly Flames
They've both
battle
been super
royale
mid,
rather
yeah.
than
Yeah.
have a conversation. It's up to you.
Someone had like a 10-year look at every NHL franchise or like a decade, and the Flyers and Flames are like right next to each other at like 16, 17. Like these teams are the most mid teams in the entire league. I know people don't like that word, but it's just like the most never good, never bad, middle of the pack. Don't have emotions about them if you're another team. Mid.
Boy. Yeah, they took Alex. This is Buffalo. Alex Nylander in 2016.
Flop. Bust.
Sergachev goes at the next pick. Charlie McAvoy a few picks
Oh.
after that. So I mean that anyone can do it. I get it. They take Middlestat at 8, so that's pretty high pick.
Got him, Byram. But now they're probably going to move Bo and Byram.
And then Natchez and Suzuki go a little bit later. That's not a great draft either, in fairness.
The pick's fine, but not great. It's not Alex Nylander.
And Dahlin was the consensus.
He's been great. I have no
1 in
problem with
18.
Dahlin. Yeah. If he was playing with like a veteran 30-year-old, like if he's playing next to Aaron Ekblad, you probably think he's one of the best D in the game.
If you had to do it over again, time machine, knowing now what you know, Brady Tkachuk, Quinn Hughes, or Rasmus Dahlin at number 1?
Quinn Hughes has to be one now, but I could hear arguments for Brady after what we've seen.
Yeah, you could debate it depending on what your.
I'd probably put Dahlin third in that group.
Yeah.
In fairness.
Yep. And you know what? It's not bad comps because none of those teams are. It's like, oh well, he went to a contender. Like, no, all those teams, they're their best players.
Yeah. Tkachuk again. Did you see him? Scores with 30 seconds left or whatever to force overtime. That guy's an animal. Damn.
Big for points in the inverse standings last night. Oh, baby.
All right. Well, we should get to it. Want to tell you first about Outdoor Dental. Didn't you go? Yeah. How'd it go? Yeah.
I really like they've got the trail mix at the front door.
What?
Yeah.
That gets in your teeth.
It's different things for everyone.
Then you get in there. So what if?
That's why I go. I eat the trail mix and go sit in the dental chair and
just leave.
Now, Mr. Warner, if you could not eat anything for the next. Oh, excuse me. Oh,
can you dig this
out? He's
out?
eating the trail mix.
Yeah. Outdoor Dental, Dr. J. Patel. There he is. Look at him.
What a guy.
Yeah. Must have been some kind of
always
welcoming of the homeless or something in there that day. Anyway.
He's doing stuff
dentistry with no needles, no drills, no stress. The Soleil laser. Technological advancements in the dental field. Wonder who told Dr. J about that.
That guy from the baseball MVP, the technological stuff,
right?
What with
technology and stuff.
Stuff. Do you have that one?
You know, technology and stuff.
Snoring treatments, not just for your dental treatment. Get in there. It's the soft palate in the back of your throat. You tighten that sucker up, and all of a sudden, you're not snoring at night. You're getting better sleep. You're getting deeper sleep. People around you are sleeping better. You're happier. They're happier. That's a few victories right there.
I'm getting some great sleep in the basement, Dean. I got to tell you, since I went to Dr. J.
Congratulations.
That's probably another conversation. But hey, outdoor.dental is the website. Certainly for your dental, everything. Get your family over there. The kids, I would think, are going to love it.
Kids love it.
Kids are going to love it.
I got a little video game room there. I was playing Nintendo Mario 1.
Yeah.
The kid drops his phone on his face and breaks his teeth. No problem.
No
Fixed
big
right
deal.
up.
Right there.
NBD. So if you do have, if you have youngsters in the house and they do not ever want to go to the dentist, they fight you on it. Outdoor Dental is probably the way to go. Outdoor.dental.com is the website. Book yourself in. Go see Dr. J.
Let's go.
We will have Frank Seravalli joining us in about 20 minutes,
We'll
maybe a little less. So we will get to the Pinder Report, a presentation of Village Honda, where they have done it again. It's the $1 million buy-in event. They want some pre-owned vehicles. If you are looking to trade your vehicle in, maybe at a different dealership, before you do that, get your free appraisal. It's easy to do. Go to villagehonda.com. It's right there on the website to start things off. They can put in the particulars of your vehicle and let them take care of the rest. Maybe you got a lease that's sending. You got to take it back. Stop here first. You don't need to buy theirs for them to buy yours. That's the messaging. They want your pre-owned vehicle and cash within 24 hours. Tough to beat. Village Honda, located in the Northwest Auto Mall and online, of course, at villagehonda.com. Bring you the Pinder Report.
Game day. Dino, helmets on. There's Connor Zary. Look at him. He's focused. You know why he's focused, Trent? See the focus in his eyes?
There's a lot of focus there.
Because he's been demoted to the fourth line. More on that in a moment.
Shit, Zary.
Jeez.
What else have we got? Well, let's go to FlamesNation.ca, see what's going on. Great piece by Liam. Weighing the pros and cons of Rasmus Anderson, trading him or not at the deadline. And Ryan Pike, look at this. I need you to pay attention. Flames looking to trade defenseman Daniil Mironanov. I think that's his brother.
Oh my God.
That doesn't seem like a Pike thing to do. This guy's detailed.
The writers don't often do the headlines.
So the managing editors may. So
is that Jack?
Jack, did you edit
My
Jack?
You know what's funny? I posted a video about this yesterday, and I copied and pasted the headline from Flames Nation for the title.
Yeah.
So it was also wrong.
Yeah. You wouldn't have noticed for sure.
And then
Can you?
no, someone commented and I noticed.
I'm putting you on the spot. Can you go grab what I sent you yesterday around 2:50 p.m.? It was a little one pager with some key reminders.
Right. Yes, I will.
Because I had a parent teacher meeting yesterday.
Mhm.
And on the wall in grade 4, they've got, there's the alphabet up here, and then there's some math over here, and hundreds, thousands. And they had on the wall, there. And I said to the teacher, oh, can I take a picture of that?
Right.
My 26-year-old producer hasn't figured this out yet. And you're working on it in grade 4.
Yeah.
So, Jack, if we're saying like, hey, where's the computer? It's over there. How would you spell that one? He doesn't want to do this.
There.
Okay, that's good. Okay, good. Now, if it said, is that Ryan? Is that your jacket? And I'd say, no, it's Dean's. It's theirs, or it's the Warners. It's theirs.
Their.
Also correct. Now, what if you said people are pissed off at the Pinder Report? They're not happy.
They are. It's THEY. Whatever that is.
Apostrophe.
Whatever that is.
Sorry.
Apostrophe.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, it's good stuff.
I got it.
You can spell it however you want. I'm not sure what kind of market there is for Mirananov or Miramanov.
Yeah,
That's tough sledding for Connie.
Hey, we got a D of it. Everyone's looking for a D. Tree looking for a D.
Yeah. If we're being honest, it's would you like a 4th option on the right side? We'll take a 6th rounder, something like that, right? They just have too many righties. Pahal's been good. Where are you going to put this guy? He's a depth right side guy.
And again, I think that's a very positive way to look at it.
Do you think he's an HL? Do you think he'd clear waivers? Because I know
Yes.
people in the organization are fearful that he would not clear waivers.
Okay, so
now maybe
fearful?
they're drinking their own Kool-Aid. They don't want to put him on waivers. They could easily have him playing big minutes every night in the A if they thought he could get through waivers. They don't think he'd get through waivers.
And maybe they know.
Vegas wouldn't
Maybe
put him
they
on
know.
waivers last year. They were afraid of losing him on waivers.
and
So-
now they're desperately needing.
No, they have other 7s and 8s, but they didn't want to put him on waivers. Yeah.
Save yourself $1 million. Put them on waivers.
All right. What do we got?
That's for you, Mr. Edwards. Saving you money.
Mirananov. What else is on the website? Oh my goodness. Bobby Germany with an
Oh.
earth-shaking headline here. The Flames are a bad team
Jesus,
being
Bob.
held up by an elite goalie and a hot
Ew.
start.
What the hell happened to
Jeez.
Bob?
Bob, you get dumped? What's going on, man?
Bobby.
So positive.
You know
all the
what?
time.
Bobby, is he living in Calgary or Vancouver this winter? Because I know in Vancouver, you don't see the sun this time of year. It's that
Oh, yeah.
seasonal
He's back
adjusted.
in Vancouver now.
See?
Yeah.
He's grumpy.
Gross.
Wait, we got a Flames writer living in Vancouver.
Oh, he's a huge writer. You can write anywhere, eh? You just bring
He
your
loves
typewriter
the
with
Flames, man.
you. Bring your typewriter with
So
you.
we went to Vancouver.
No, he's. I don't know. I
He's
don't
got
know.
work stuff and properties and things. So
Properties.
I guess lease. I don't know. There's lots of things going on. Vancouver, not easy to find
Got to
place.
get
to
an
live.
email.
It's pretty. You got to get your new email. West Wildcard. Where are the Flames? Oh, they're holding a freaking playoff spot still. It's crazy. We'll have clarity by Friday, Dean. Don't worry. No, we won't.
48 hours.
Yeah, just by
No.
the time this road trip's over, come on back.
We sure won't.
We'll have it all laid out for you.
They're going to be like within a point of a top 10 pick and a playoff spot, some heinous position where you're like, we have no idea what we're doing.
Who's the top 10? Where do they got to get to?
Well, we got that. We're
Oh.
calling it the mid standings. All of a sudden,
There it is.
2 points out, boys.
Gracious, that's right there.
It's right there. Look at
Right
the teams
there.
behind them. Look at the teams behind them. Utah's playing well. St. Louis playing well. Montreal's playing well. Vancouver, you
Hey,
suck.
guys.
St. Louis, you suck.
Look at Philadelphia.
It was a big 4-pointer.
This is a
tonight.
big.
Ooh.
This is a big clash tonight
Is it ever?
at the Wells Fargo.
Isn't that crazy how tight that is, right?
It's so tight.
Because I was trying to
That's
tell you in
really-
January, there were only 5 points difference. That's crazy. You're like, no, that's normal. I'm like, okay, maybe it is. And this is not normal. This is
I'm
you're
not
2
sure if it's
points from a
normal or
top 10
not, but
pick.
It's sure fun to look at.
You're in a playoff spot and you're 2 points from a
I
top 10
don't like
pick.
it though. I liked it. Remember the old days? Used to flip it upside down. He didn't do all this.
Well, this is the mid. This isn't the inverse.
All
Because
right,
the inverse
all
would be
right. Sorry.
26 through 32 below.
If they fall below that line,
Then it
then he's
flips.
turning that sucker.
We start
upside
singing
down.
Tina Turner. It's
Yeah.
on. New lines for the Flames. Don't know if you're going to like them. Kind of looks like a bunch of third liners blended together once you get up to the top line, but maybe that's what this team is. Huberdeau, Kadri, Coronado stay together. They put Farabee with Backlund and Coleman, where he's been playing, and the bottom 6 shuffle up. Sharon Govich comes back in Zeri goes to the right side of the fourth line, and out comes Klapka. Yeah.
I don't like to be rude or sound unimpressed, but where's the, if I'm playing against him, who am I?
Why is Pot?
Go get him, boys. Must win.
We'll
Make him away, toys.
tonight matchup. Let's do it.
You got this.
On the back end, Pahal comes back in. Mirananov.
Thank God Hanley's there.
That's right.
Joe
Hanley. Wolf and net, and Ersson will go for the Flyers. Also practice today, not just Wolf and net. Johnny's dad, which we love to see at practice. Hey, good stuff.
They did a lot of nice things for Johnny at the outdoor game of the weekend.
Yes.
Real nice.
Kami was there, so he had a good time.
Yeah.
Very good.
Weird.
Walker Door and waivers, right? Are they going to claim them?
Walker. I don't think so. I think Walker was given the red carpet treatment and he soiled himself.
For per Mike Good. Expect the Flames to put a claim in on Dewar, excuse me. If they're the only team to do so, they can then assign him to the Wranglers. He's a good Wrangler. Get him back to the Wranglers. I expect they'll claim
I think they do like Dewar.
at the AHL. Yep. And they need him at the A. It's been hollowed out a bit there.
Maybe that's why we're struggling. It's because that's
All
so
these
funny.
AHLers,
Wranglers.
These guys back slotted properly.
We gotta. What do we do? We're just focused on the wrong squad.
Get Klapka back down there. Washington, Ottawa last night. More than just hockey, guys. Look at this. It's just two nations' capitals. Ooh, big one.
Did Trump tweet that?
No, he doesn't. He's not allowed to
just
tweet.
some random
He's on his own
joker.
app, interestingly named Truth. Let's move to what happened in said game. Oh, that's Spencer Knight first.
This is not in
That's
that
not
game.
that game yet. But
I had a Stutzla thing, but
Right.
totally numbered it wrong.
There was a lot that actually happened in that game
There was. And Dino mentioned the late time goal from Brady.
and a fight.
Whew.
Screw you, Wilson. And Wilson had one hell of a game as well.
yes, he did.
There's been some pretty good players. So when you think about like Alfredson, Carlson, especially with assists, Havlat, Hossa, that's a franchise
It's
record.
wearing Hosa's number.
How rude.
Very rude.
Hossa was awful to play against. Just awful, dude.
Tell us about why
Too
that
big and
is.
You
strong.
couldn't move him, and he was fast and skilled, and it sucked.
He could do everything.
Did he have? It was that trunk. He's very lower body. That strength.
There's some girth to his
Yager-esque
Yeah.
trunk.
Oddly,
Big ass.
I'll tell you a weird story because the DUG is here.
Yes, he is.
He brought up. Did I bring this up about Radek Bonk in Ottawa?
Bonk.
No, go ahead.
I missed the game when DUG was in Ottawa because I got hit by Radek Bonk, but I don't remember the game.
You
Or the
bonked and
hit.
you didn't remember.
And it's like, oh, I must have hit my head.
Really?
You got a bonk.
I got bonked.
Apropos.
Yeah, remember when you had to go in the ambulance to the hospital? I'm like,
What?
Kinda. It feels like something that should.
Ambulance?
It seems like that was the right move, though. In
Yeah.
hindsight, sending you to the hospital.
Should you remember that sort
Yeah,
of?
probably would.
Huh. Weird one.
Mm.
Doug was drunk. He didn't remember either.
At least no lingering effects.
Did he have to go to the
No.
hospital?
You're-
Or is he okay?
Sharp as sharp could be, buddy.
CTESP.
Spencer Knight made his debut with the Chicago Blackhawks last night, and he was great.
Look at him.
Congrats, Spencer.
41
Is
saves.
that AI? Because that is intense.
Ooh.
Look at my eyeballs. Look at my lookers.
I'm going to break this puck in half with my stare.
I don't think he's Euro.
He's definitely American, and we definitely had Dustin Wolf as backup for 2 World Juniors. A night to remember. Huh?
I was going to say that's too word. It doesn't need to be that wordy.
Jack,
It
do you
was
get
It's
it?
like we get it. His name you could have just said.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't need to put the second night.
Night to
Okay.
remember.
Just put night to remember.
Now,
yeah.
Jack, that's called a silent K with Spencer's last name.
Thanks,
because
Ryan.
and the GH, it makes
He knows that.
Ryan, I can know. Don't make me come at you with a knife. What else have we got? Daily face-off, trade targets. Guys, we're 3 days away. This is wild. Top
Come on,
45
Fonny.
targets. There is one flame in there. Dan Vladar at 41. Very quickly, the top 10. Nelson, Lawton, Tanev. Brandon. Evans, Riley Smith, Middlestat, Byram, Carson Soucy, Ricky Rax, and Cal Palmieri.
These are not names that I'm interested in at all.
Other names that are out there: Cousins, Ristolainen, Alexiak, Yanni Gord, and Ryan Donato, who's playing
This,
well.
I think we need to
Yeah, I know.
reconsider what we're going to accomplish.
Oh,
on
I think we're
Friday.
on it. Yeah, we're on it.
Yeah, we definitely need to pivot away
That
from
said,
the real stuff.
I Bowen Byram, Dylan Cousins.
If there's a guy the Flames should swing for at the deadline, it's Bowen Byram. Rhett, you with me?
Yep.
Left shot, young defenseman, 23.
I said that last year. I said it's too bad that Colorado wasn't interested in that dud Lindholm because we could have got Byram.
It was not a rental for him. They liked Middlestat. I don't think they do anymore. His name's
No,
also
and I
on
was
this
right. And
list.
I wasn't really right, but they were.
I mean,
wrong.
you were right to like Byram.
Yeah.
But I don't think Colorado was interested in a rental for him.
There were a lot of concerns about his injuries,
Yep.
Not
A lot of
for me.
but there's a lot to
Sure.
like about the player.
Not for me, Dean.
What if he gets bonked? That was the question.
And
Yeah.
there's a new bonk.
It's okay.
coming
He won't
on,
remember it.
That's fair. Now, our boy Dregs has got a busy Friday. We're not going to have him on the show. I wonder if we could try to get him Thursday. Here's what they're doing. A little twist this year. They're leaning into it.
Oh,
Jack,
Leaning into
what
it.
side are you on, buddy? This is not them. This is someone having fun. But,
Oh, really?
you're
that's
not
right.
really going with that?
Brad Marchand's hurt, boys. This is a big loss
Baker,
at the trade war show
He
that we're
is
doing.
giving the finger to his squad.
Interesting. This from Fluto. Brad Marchand will not play before the deadline week to week.
Can I ask you a question? I
What?
don't know who Fluto is.
Great
Maybe
beat
wonderful.
reporter.
Really
Long-time
dusty.
Bruins beat writer.
Okay. That's what I was curious.
Yeah.
about.
Yeah, this is a credible Boston source. The best, probably.
I thought it was
Boston
just
source.
a random person that
No, Fluto's done it for a long time. I actually have a Fluto story that I'll tell you off the air.
Excellent.
No,
Very good. I have a
on
Jimmy
air.
Murphy who works in Boston as
Right,
well.
yeah.
Story also off the air.
Okay.
Unless you want stories about strip clubs in LA on the air, but I don't think we do.
Well,
everyone does
keep
now.
moving.
it's better than Jack's story.
It sure
Yeah, it is
is.
true.
Jack doesn't kiss and tell. Boring. Look what they engraved the other day.
Oh,
Now, if you really, really, really squint, can everyone squint here?
No, my eyes are terrible.
If you squint, you still can't see the Kachucks on there, Jack. I looked. Isn't that weird?
Really, it's gonna hurt.
God damn it.
I'm torn.
You should be torn. Outdoor game was on FX in Canada, and it actually did big numbers on TV in the States. I had people text me, where did I find this damn outdoor? Is that today?
That's all Four Nations related.
For sure it is. Yeah, because I don't think Columbus is a draw, and Detroit is not flying high right now. I mean, you lean into the Ohio-Michigan thing, but that's the biggest numbers on ESPN for an NHL game in ages. That's wild. Like a regular season game. Good stuff.
Sport's hot. Sport is red hot.
So
We
hot.
should try and
Remember when
we
Messier
should
won?
try and align ourselves.
Maybe do
Yeah.
some more of that
It's
international
really
hockey.
growing.
More Olympics is, right? That's how you say it. Olympi?
Yeah,
Olympics
more
is.
Olympi.
More Olympi. More pie, please. Mike Bossy was really good. Today is a day that we should remember that because today in 1982 was the 5th year in a row he scored 50. His first 5 years in the league. This is the player we do not talk about enough. When you talk about all-time players, Mount Rushmore's, this guy scored 50 goals like it was easy, and he did it every year. And then he was like, I'm good. Wild.
He's like, my back. I've taken enough cross checks. I can't do it anymore. I'm done.
If you had an all-health team of guys that if they're healthier in their career, it might be a Mount Rushmore of like Lemieux or Bossy.
Tim
Lindros even?
Kerr.
Tim Kerr.
50 and 50. He was.
55
He
years
had the
in a row.
50.
In 5 seasons.
That's
50,
just
50, 50,
nuts.
50, 50.
Because it was his record when Wayne went 39 games.
Which is insane.
Beat
Yeah.
his 50 and 50.
Wayne had 5 to get to 39 that night. Whew. That's
Poor
not going to
Pete
get
Peters.
beaten. Tonight's games. Lots. Tuesday slate. Big slate. Okay. Let's hunt through some good ones. What do we got?
No.
Kane's wings.
Canes
Be
are
all right?
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, wings are hot.
What was
Canes.
that? And the
Canes
next
have some
one?
big decisions to make in the next 3
Blue
days. We'll talk
Jackets
about it with
Lightning.
Frank.
Next one. Huge. Do you have a huge? Buddy?
Huge.
Winnipeg Islanders. Oof. No, thank you.
Miles are selling, boys.
Jersey, Dallas.
That's your game of the night. right there.
quality.
Yeah.
And of course, Pittsburgh.
Mike Sullivan, not yet on the moon. He's in Denver tonight, Jack.
In the last, no.
Are we leaving Crosby there or what?
I wish we could see the
Well,
Penguins
if you had
leave
any
Crosby
pull
there.
at all in
I have
your
no pull.
hometown of Pittsburgh, like
That's the blockbuster we need to save Friday.
Can you
Is it not?
imagine?
A Sid coronation as he's traded to Denver?
Seems awfully quiet.
Oh,
Just
it's
days
dead
away.
silent.
would be quiet
Yeah.
though.
That's where you need, though. You need that stunner, like the Rantanen one. Like, no one saw this coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
No
about
whispers.
Rand? That'll be a big
That's a big
Brandon would be
decision.
a big one. Yeah.
Big
yeah.
We'll talk about it with Frank in mere moments. Let me
All right.
wrap this thing up. We'll get to it.
Miranov.
Mirananov.
Worst job in the world. Boomer
Yes.
complains a lot, but this is a way worse job than the one he has. What is it? Well, you're feeding dead mice and snakes. It's pretty easy until it's not.
Yeah.
You like, boy.
This guy.
That falls out here, and then he
come
just kind of
on.
scoops it.
And another one does the same thing.
Too much snake.
What do they say? Keep moving. Rhett, big biker. He's got some new tricks. He's always showing off his new tricks on the bike.
Motorbiker. Like
This is more my style, though. Like,
Harley.
look at this. You got the curled handlebars.
10
You're a
speed.
hipster here.
You got 10
You got the
speed.
Modelo. Ding. Oh, he's got dart
Great
going
signal.
red.
Dart.
Wow. Beard of
Great
darts.
song.
No hands.
Show off.
This is something I've been working on. We finally nailed it last night. A lot of takes, but we only show the one take so it can go viral, right? Here it is. We got the rammable.
It's looking good.
Now come on. That is well done.
That's peak performance.
That is
Impressive.
when you look at athletes, that's on my Mount Rushmore. A couple more left. What animal is this? Jack was wanting to know. Because what, you and the shoveler were out at that petting zoo?
That's Scottish.
Feeding him. Don't feed him. Oh, that's can't even breathe, shoveler. Put him down. Oh, look at that thing. Jeez.
What is that?
Is that a yak? It's got to be a yak.
What's a yak?
Oh, it's an ungulate.
Did you want
A
some
horned
more?
ungulate.
Created. A Scottish cow.
Jeez.
I'm gonna see if I can. I'll send it to you, Jack.
Any truth to the rumor you're switching to tea, Dean? Because I know you drink coffee a lot. You usually get your
Oh,
teas
I
in the
love
mix.
tea, Ryan.
Yeah. We got tea free here, didn't you?
Yeah.
Tea slinging your sugar there. I'm allergic to bees.
Beads? Beans?
Bees. And Rhett, you were snowmobiling with your old man, is that right?
See, the Highland cow or cattle. That's
Highland
right. What it
cattle.
is.
That is what it is. That's
They have
exactly.
kind of a nice little
Yeah, they got some
Beautiful.
flow.
fluffy
Just
do.
gorgeous.
Little gingy, and they got some flow.
Yeah.
How was snowmobiling with the old
I
man?
always love snowmobiling. Hard on my shoulder, but
Yeah.
I can't resist.
There it is. So there you are. You're coming out of the woods. Good. Oh. And so your pants fell down, right? That's
Here.
Oh. How long did it take you to get out from that?
These people are idiots.
These people are idiots. And that's the Pinder Report on a Tuesday.
Doug
Game
is
day.
pissed at you.
He's mad at me.
Why don't you have a Briar update? Like we have watched so much
Team
curling.
Canada was great last night. Did you see Canada, Manitoba,
Oh.
Doug?
Goosh.
That was a Goosh was
Was it a goosh?
unbelievable. And Cooey just destroyed for Alberta. There's multiple Alberta.
How'd you do?
We won. It was our last game of the year. Now, here's the beauty. We showed up with two guys because some dummy
So you
forgot to show
stole-
up. So we stole their lead and then beat them.
Oh, weird. I don't think that qualifies as a win.
It's a DQ. We told them they can take the win, but we know who scored the points.
Why didn't you call Doug?
I didn't know Doug was here. You didn't tell me Doug was here.
Jesus.
Doug, you a lead or you
Outturn is
like
unbelievable.
takeouts or draws?
Is it really?
Oh,
How's your hack weight?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Skip. Okay, we could use a third. That's perfect. I'll go third. You can skip.
Yeah.
Yes, skip.
Doug's not into sweeping. He's not.
No, you don't want to do it.
No, gosh, no. Yeah.
Barn burner. We do have breaking news this morning.
Oh, yeah. Freege.
Oh, Trent Frederick. This is a guy that was going to move. Physical, bottom six forward, can score. He's tough. Wow. And Rhett, what do you love?
Three ways.
There it is. Going through Jersey, needs some money.
Hearing Trent Frederick will be traded to Edmonton. Believe this is a three-way through New Jersey.
And so again, for another year where crazy us weirdos down the highway, we think they could use some help on the blue line.
Anywhere but forward.
Another forward. The same position they gave up the first to get
I like Trent
Adam
Frederick.
Henry class.
I like Trent Frederick.
I
don't
like him a
this
lot.
deal.
I
I
don't
like
this
Trent
deal.
Frederick better than Adam Henry.
Yeah.
The other
So
guy.
let's hope they have to give up more than a first then.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other guy that fought that's not there anymore.
Carrick?
Oh, Sam Carrick. That's who it was. Yeah. I know there's a lot of teams interested in him. The way he played UFA, Boston's just like, we can't be spending if we're bad. This was going to happen. Edmonton gets him. First or more or less? More or less. Over, under, or first?
Less.
Really? Then we should have picked him up.
I will say it's a first because the Oilers are going to pick real late, and it's a shitty draft year.
I'll say
Normally, I'd
less.
say less than a first.
And because New Jersey's, it might be if they had to eat the money on it, but New Jersey's obviously taking
Jersey's gonna eat
money,
half.
so it's not going to cost Edmonton maybe as much as it would otherwise.
I think it costs Edmonton the same, and then they get Jersey
Yeah.
gets an extra
You have
pick.
to pay out. You might be right.
Mm.
We'll find out.
We will.
Yeah.
Don't like that at all for the Oilers because I am hoping they flame out in the playoffs. Just if you're new to the show, because everyone here knows that.
Yeah, that's a bit of a spoiler.
Obviously.
So, yeah, Frank's going to join us. I'm guessing he's probably doing some digging on this here right now.
That would make
But,
sense.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's
Do the Oilers have their first?
Not this year. They traded it to draft Sam O'Reilly or someone who sounds like that at the draft,
That's right, they moved.
O'Reilly.
which was odd because it's like that kid might be
Autopart.
helpful in 3 to 6 years if he pans out.
Well,
and
they're not going to play
they
then?
need
You don't
some-
need a team in 3 to 6? Come on.
Well,
Pinder,
you're
think
trying
ahead.
to convince at that point Leon and Connor to stay. So it could have been a guy that helps them win a cup this year.
So this is from the Oilers website. They have made a pair of trades with Boston and New Jersey.
Pair.
Boston trades Trent Frederick, 50% salary retained, to New Jersey
Mm-hmm.
in exchange for unsigned draft choice Peter Hauser. New Jersey then trades Trent Frederick, 50% salary retained, to Edmonton in exchange for unsigned draft choice Shane Lachance.
Scott's boy.
Trade
Wow.
3, Boston trades Max Jones and unsigned draft choice Peter Hauser to Edmonton in exchange for Max Warner, St. Louis's second rounder, and Edmonton's own fourth rounder. So there's a lot there.
Who had LaChance's rights to begin with?
The Oilers, I believe.
Okay, that would make some sense.
So Edmonton is giving up Lachance,
A fourth rounder.
a fourth, and a second.
Well, it looks like St. Louis's second.
But it was
that was
theirs,
held by
owned by
so a
Edmonton.
second and a fourth, and the rights to LaChance. So don't know if that's more or less than a first, but it wasn't a first. That's for sure.
And if Boston's keeping 50 and New Jersey's keeping 50,
You
is
get them at a quarter. That's as low as it can go. You can't eat more than 75% of a
Is that
salary.
a sweetheart deal for the Oilers?
If he works out there and they win a cup, it sure is. I'll tell you that.
I just need to know. It's like Bob Cole. I remember hearing the Bob Cole story. He needed to. How do you?
Oh,
Is
there we
it-
go, Frank?
Lachance or Lachance?
You just like
That's
that.
where you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was in the booth apparently.
He's in Quebec. Or
Who is
Doesn't-
Shane Lachance or Lachance?
He's Lachance or Lachance. So there you go. So Max Jones, Trent Frederick.
It doesn't seem. I don't know who these people are. though.
Seems a little late.
Feels like a good deal
But
for the
you
Oilers.
got to know who LaChance is. What's the story here? Yeah.
Well, why don't
And even
you?
there,
You're
even if
our
he does develop
insider.
into a player, it's
Okay.
about Edmonton for right now.
Yeah.
So
which is
you'll-
kind of the point I was making about that first rounder they traded last summer. Yeah.
So they don't have to give up a first. A second's a second, regardless of whose team it is. It was their their pick.
It's a second round pick. Yeah.
Well, here's hoping that it doesn't work out.
Yeah, we wish him well in that first round 7-game upset to the Kings.
All right, let's find out. Who's Shane Lachance?
I'm looking
I'll
for
do I'll do my round.
Are you gonna do your rounds?
2003, so he's 22. Playing at Boston University, drafted by the Oilers.
I got to tell you about Service Credit
Nice.
Union.
Late,
While
he's
you
doing
guys do something.
He's so
Oh, he's huge.
The Service Big Share contest is in full swing. It's your chance to win $1 million just by saving money. Rhett said it yesterday. You know what? It's kind of in the front of your mind. Oh, there's a Service Credit Union, and there's a Service Credit Union. They're everywhere. Very handy. That's the thing you want. You don't want to be searching around for your bank. But I'm a whoop-de-doo bank customer. Is there a whoop-de-doo bank ATM around here, or do I have to?
Next 2 towns over.
Every $500 saved gives you 5 entries into the Service Big Share contest. All you need to do is become a member and start saving. The contest ends April 30th, 2025. There's a skill test required. For rules, visit service.ca/win. And it's about getting all the entries, some bonus entries. There's ways you can do it. There's other ways to do it quicker. TFSA, RSP, direct deposit from your place of work where you're employed, chances are. But it is the Big Share contest, and $1 million could be yours by the end of April. Service.ca/win. We'll get some more details here as we, again, the Oilers make.
Are there more details, or is that?
Well, just in terms of
Frank has a full deal. It's just worded differently.
Of Lachance.
The 3 deals. Yeah.
How big's Lachance?
6'5".
Ooh.
He's a winger. He's playing at BU.
Oh.
He's 220 pounds. He's 21.
Baby.
Will turn 22 this summer.
Drafted when?
Last summer.
Oh,
Or sorry, that's not
Doesn't
correct.
make
In
sense.
2021.
all right.
Round 6. So a bit of a project. Huge.
oh,
and
just
not a
throw it
point
into
per
his
game.
body.
So
Captain of Boston University.
Captain.
Leader of men. Less than a point per game. 10 goals, 15 assists in 32 games.
Let's go to the Insider Hotline. It's a presentation of Crystal Waters Plumbing and Heating, your crystal clear choice for all residential plumbing, heating, and cooling services. You watch, you listen to Barn Burner. Hey, you got a friend in the business. That's Crystal Waters. A hot water heater, AC, furnace. You'll get discounts and upgrades up to $1,000 in value. Call 403-219-4100 or check them out at crystalclearcalgary.com as we bring in our hockey insider, Frank Seravalli. Just fresh.
Wow.
That new trade smell
Love
still
it.
around this one.
It's still
What do you make-
digesting.
We're learning about Lachance. We don't know much about the other prospects. It's a St. Louis pick, but it's still a second. I guess it's Trent Frederick leaving Boston. Like, we all kind of like the player. He's got some stink to his game. He plays hard. He was, you know what he was? He was a good Bruin.
Yeah.
And I feel like he'll be a good Oiler. But is this what the Oilers needed? It feels like maybe, again, they've gone to the forward well when maybe there's some glaring holes. Not glaring. There's
Bigger
maybe
need elsewhere?
issues
Question mark?
somewhere else. Yeah.
So you would have Rhett played against his old man,
Yep.
Scott Lachance.
Yeah.
So
But is it
interesting.
Lachance?
Yeah, in
Yeah.
Canada,
A
Lachance.
chance?
America,
You just-
chance.
you just
Why don't you take us over, Frank? You got to let us know how to pronounce these things.
well
anyway.
considering they're all from the US, I'd say we're pretty good with Lachance. So
Yeah.
Awesome.
So look, here's the interesting part about this deal for the Oilers. One, I think it solves a need. They needed someone with size and a little bit of a different element and someone that could skate. So they bring that in, and now they haven't touched any of their 2 other avenues to make another deal. One, we don't have a determination yet on Evander Kane because both the Bruins and the Devils retain money. It actually only chews up 500 and some $1,000. They had $1 million in cap space. So they don't need to go. They didn't touch the LTIR money yet for Kane. And 2, if they wanted to, and they don't want to do something with Kane, they could still trade a piece off of their roster, dollar in, dollar out, and make something happen that way. So this hasn't closed off any avenues. And even further than that, there's a thought out there that depending on how long Trent Frederick is out, which is week to week, could he be on LTIR for the rest of the season potentially, and then activate him for the playoffs? I think that's a bit of a long shot, but the point is the Oilers made an improvement and kept their powder dry for some other things, except for the assets that are out the door, the second, the fourth, and Lachance.
So get us up to speed on Kane, because I know people are saying, oh, he's been hurt and he's going to get healthy at some point, but it gets more interesting than that because he just lost some trade protection to a lower level. He seemingly wants to get some games in before the playoffs, and they probably want to game the system and use the LTIR space.
Well, I think they would do that if they had a player that they were comfortable in knowing that he would be a willing participant in that.
Right.
And there's no bigger wild card in the NHL than Evander Kane. So I don't think they feel real comfortable about the situation. If they go through this process and trade Evander Kane's LTIR money, what happens if he wakes up on March 27th and he says, you know what? I feel like $5.1 million today. I'm going to play. I want to play. And I'm going to find a doctor, second opinion, whatever it might be, that's going to clear me to play.
Yeah.
Well, if the Oilers went out and spent that money, then
They're
now what? You've got to make a trade post-trade deadline and attach first-round picks and trade, just for math's sake, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins off of your team just because Evander Kane has woken up and decided that he's going to push your buttons today and he wants to play.
Sounds like a good team guy.
Sounds like a guy that's been around out of Buffalo, Winnipeg, and San Jose. But
we could use
Right.
And so if you're going to move Kane, which we're sort of circling around that being a potential, he's owed over 5 for 1 more year. Is that an asset you get something back for? Or is that something you have to staple an asset to get rid of?
It's an asset, given what everyone knows what you want to do. You have to staple an asset to in order to move, which again, just further complicates things for the Oilers. Do you really want to pay to move him when, if he does come back, whether it's regular season or playoffs, the guy could actually be a huge difference maker for you and exactly what you need if you're the Oilers on the ice.
Or injured the first game back. It's a wild card, isn't it?
This doesn't sound managed well. Like going back to the offseason.
Well, and they're
we
not.
need a guy that can skate and has size.
That was Holloway. That's a guy that can skate and
How
has
about
size.
Skinner? Let's get Skinner. Makes no sense. And I'm happy for it. Go Oilers.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
You got some breaking news, Frank? What are you looking at here?
Yeah, so the Montreal Canadiens have agreed with Jake Evans on a 4-year extension. That takes the number 4 player off of my trade targets board. 4 times $2.85 million the team has just announced.
4 times 2.85. Look at Frank go. This is amazing.
Attaboy, Frankie boy. I didn't realize that Frederick was injured. Obviously, I didn't know he was going to be traded today either. But it's another guy. It's not as much in terms of salary saving, but if you can LTIR this guy.
Well, you wouldn't have eaten all that salary if you're just going to LTIR him, though, would you? I don't know. Maybe you had to get in. It's with Kane's situation is confusing.
They have to leave themselves some wiggle room to get some other deals done, right?
Yeah.
Because if you don't get the salary and then all of a sudden a goalie deal, what is there a goalie deal for the Oilers to make out there? It seems like John Gibson's name has kind of risen to the top of that list, and I apologize because I know you're feverishly tweeting and getting.
I don't see John Gibson as a fit anywhere. One, I think there's a super limited market, and he makes too much. And for whatever reason, the Ducks, this is why he's still there, have been hell-bent on thinking they're going to get something in return for him.
Right.
I don't see it. I certainly don't. For all the reasons we just talked about in Edmonton, I definitely don't see it there. The only other team I think that's somewhat interested in a goalie is Carolina, and only for cheap. They don't spend on a goalie as a free agent. They're certainly not going to pay assets and then take on this cap hit from Anaheim in order to do it. So I don't even have John Gibson on my trade board because I just don't think he's an authentic candidate to move. It's the same reason why I took off Ivan Provorov in Columbus with their playoff push and go through. There's some guys that just don't make any sense.
Looking at your trade board, you've got Brock Nelson at number 1. He's 33, pending UFA. Winnipeg has been tied to this guy. It seems like he also feels like the kind of guy that Winnipeg goes for every year and doesn't get them over the hump, whether it's
Dasney, Monahan, Toffoli, the older veteran guys.
Center.
Yeah.
Kevin
Tall
Hey,
center with
yeah,
prematurely
Hayes.
graying hair. Which, yes.
Yes,
your boy.
yes.
Yeah.
Um,
Feel bad for him. He's been attacked. Suddenly people have been doing instead of me sized up next to Sidney Crosby and these guys are the same age, it has been Brock Nelson.
He's getting politely compensated for that pain, I'm sure.
yeah.
Yeah. Unlike me. Yeah.
What is Brock Nelson?
I was going to say, if he's number one on your trade board, I'm guessing the factors and the elements that you put into putting him there is the potential impact he could have for the team that acquires him. What's he got left at 33 years of age? And what does it take to get this guy out of New York?
I think he's got a lot left. I was very pleasantly surprised with Brock Nelson's play. I know you could look at the lack of points at Four Nations Faceoff, but if you go back and watch that championship game again, third period and OT gave them massive minutes in tough matchups and really held up his end of the bargain well. So I was impressed with Brock Nelson. I think he's the premier rental center available. He's, again, you might say, what does he have left in the tank? I went and did a deep dive on his game. I watched every shift that he's played this year so far at the time I wrote the story in January. And this is a guy that his numbers have plummeted, but it's because the Islanders' power play sucks. It's not because he's playing any different or doing anything different. Kyle Palmieri's taken the same hit on his overall numbers. Watch the games, watch the even strength production. He's doing the same thing that he's always done in his whole career, but his numbers are down 20%, not because he's 33 turning 34. It's because the Islanders can't score a goal to save their lives on the power play, and their special teams as a whole stink. So I think he's a very attractive second line center option. And I think he's a tremendous fit in Winnipeg because the big thing of all the names that you just mentioned, it's not that they struggle to acquire these guys. It's that they struggle to keep them. They come in and then they're out because they don't want to re-sign. I think Nelson is a unique candidate because I've made this point a few times. War Road, Minnesota is closer to Winnipeg than it is to St. Paul where the Wild play. If you're going to have an opportunity to sign a guy like that with a team that's in the contending mix, close to home is a good bet.
And so for the Islanders, Nelson, it looks like there's a lot of teams for them to pass. Tough loss to the Rangers, I want to say last night or 2 nights ago. But Palmieri's another UFA. You got him in your top 10. It sounds like, it's going to be the summer. They got to decide whether they want to keep Noah Dobson long-term or not. Where are you at on the Islanders? Because they're holding a couple of your chips in the top 10.
Where I'm at on the Islanders is make the deal. If Brock Nelson is a New York Islander on Saturday morning when he wakes up, I'm not exaggerating when I say this. Lou Lamoriello should be fired on the spot. You don't need to come to work on Saturday. It's malfeasance and negligence keeping this guy. If you want to re-sign him so bad, wait till July 1st. Get what you can for him and bring him back. 22 games or whatever it is in another team's uniform isn't going to make or break him, but not having those assets in a lost year for the Islanders with a bleak future and not enough star power, high-end skill, or difference makers, the Islanders are pretending if they think that signing two 33-year-old pending UFAs is going to help them moving forward. Absolutely pretending.
There's some gray beards
Big time,
in literally and figuratively, and it's an aging core, and it has been for a while. Number 6, number 7, Casey Middlestat at 6. Bowen Byram at 7. Oddly, they were traded for one another. Middlestat 26, Byram 23. Buffalo, not a playoff team. Colorado is. I guess I'm just curious, is Colorado, are they content with their depth at center that they would move on from Middlestat? What do they need in a Middlestat deal? And for Buffalo, why are we moving Bowen Byram, I suppose?
Well, I'll start with Byram because it's the same reason why JJ Peterka and Dylan Cousins and a few other guys are on our list. I don't think anyone's happy there. And this has gone on a long time now, 14 straight years without the playoffs and really no path forward to get there. And look, Byram, they had an opportunity after trading for him to sign him to a longer term deal last summer. When that didn't happen, certainly, perked up my eyebrows to think, okay, what's the game plan here? Why hasn't he agreed to a longer term deal if he was such a good fit for your team? So teams have been calling, they've been asking. And in Colorado, these two players traded for each other. It hasn't been a perfect fit for Middlestat. They really, I think, have been perplexed at his lack of consistency. He hasn't shown the high-end offensive upside that they thought they might be able to unlock. And for teams that are interested, he's got some cost certainty at $5+ million for the next couple seasons that there's been enough teams that at his age still think that they can get there and do that. So he hasn't been an ideal 2C candidate. I wouldn't be shocked to see Colorado hang on to him. Same thing with Byram. Wait until the summer. There's no gun to your head to make a deal with these guys right now, but they're certainly on teams' radar and teams are reacting to it.
And so to follow up on Boom's thing, can they win a cup with him as their 2C?
I think they could. I mean, so much of it is going to hinge on McKinnon and that line and how it produces. They've been longing for more depth. Colorado, to me, took a step in the right direction, bringing in Lindgren, but their defense still needs a lot of work. Josh Manson has been banged up. He hasn't played well when he's been in the lineup. And if they can kind of move off from the Malinskis and the Keaton Middletons and the guys on their back end that really have, I think, in a lot of ways hurt this team this season, they're going to be better off. It's not a have to trade Middlestat. It's just a, can you get a better fit? And it's going to always be difficult to do that in season.
We kicked it around yesterday. There was it was something you had retweeted. The Flames maybe sniffing around Brandon Carlo out of Boston, who are looking like they're sellers right now. I guess thoughts on the player, and is that a fit that makes sense for the Flames? Some think that it does, and others are skeptical.
I think it makes sense. And is he a fit? Of course. I think anyone that defends the way that he does, I think, and it's a very reasonable cap hit. He's a giant of a man, someone that has played in really competitive moments and been a big part of this Bruins team for the last while as one of the longer tenured guys. I think from Boston's perspective, they're open to a lot of different things because they have overspent and they have a lot committed to their defense, and they're trying to find different avenues to create new flexibility. That there's been enough interest from teams that, hey, make us an offer, make our team better, give us some value back in return, and provide us with that flexibility that I think would certainly be intriguing. Carlo isn't, he's not one of those guys that I think screams to me when thinking of Calgary that he fits their age schemes, so to speak, which is what you've heard Craig Conroy talk about so frequently. But I mean, I think there's a real clear need for the Flames on their defense. The fact that they've gotten what they've gotten, or I guess have gotten to this point and are in the playoff mix, and Dustin Wolf has played as well as he has with the third pair that they continue to trot out, I think to me is a pretty fascinating story.
Well, and so what would Boston want? Because if you're telling me they're selling, they probably want young assets. That's where I have a tough time with this one.
Yeah, I'm with you.
It doesn't feel like it's the right time in your life cycle to be giving up, let's say, a first or a young prospect. Those are the things you're trying to collect right now. If you're Craig Conroy,
I agree with you. I would say that for this particular player, you wouldn't want to be giving up a ton of futures. Is there a roster player that Boston's interested in? And if not, go to the next guy on your list.
Sure. It's the kind of thing with a few of these three. We've talked about Dylan Cousins. I mean, the Sabres would be wanting what the Flames are probably loath to give up, which would be either high draft picks or young potential top line players. So, and you could argue whether the Flames have that or not. I think it was last week. I'm trying to catch, today's Tuesday. Vancouver reportedly offering Brock Boeser a contract extension, to which he was, I'm going to wait. I'm going to hold off. Does that put Boeser in the mix? I know you've got him at 12, but they're still kind of right there as we get closer to deadline day.
He's a little bit of Vandelay Industries right now. Importer, exporter, like
that's right.
Could be both. Importer, exporter of fine latex goods.
Yeah.
But here's the deal. And when I say this, it always sounds like, hey, congratulations, buddy. You just outlined all of the options. So he wants to be a Vancouver Canuck. And he's a little bit bothered and perturbed that it's gone on this long and that they essentially dared him this season. Hey, you scored 40 last year. Congratulations. But we want to see if you can actually do that again. And he's on track for 28. He's missed 7 games. And it's actually a slight tick above his career average. So they presented earlier this year a 5x8 offer. and $40 million is certainly nothing to sneeze at. But he believes that with the cap, and his camp believes that with the cap going up, he's in a good spot to cash in with potentially more years on the open market, 6 or a 7-year deal. At the same time, the Canucks are in this conundrum where they're going, ooh, should we stretch? Like the $8 million isn't the problem because he's already making $665. It's not a huge jump from $665 to $8.
Mm-hmm.
But are we comfortable giving the 6th or 7th year? That's what is the pinch between their shoulder blades. And they're trying to figure that out. They're going to make their best offer tomorrow or today or whenever it is this week before the deadline. And if they can't, and it's a hard no, do the Canucks care about this playoff chase, or is it more intriguing to them to get the value of Brock Boeser? Or could they kind of keep him for the playoff chase and then revisit those talks again as you get closer to free agency for a guy that I think in the end really doesn't want to leave, but the longer this has gone on is like, well, not only have you not necessarily treated me that well in terms of these offers and the negotiation, but it's also been a circus around here this year with Miller and Pettersson. And by the way, what happens to Rick Tocchet in his future, that I think there's a lot to consider on both sides. Boeser has just kind of sat back and has said, hey, I'm good either way. Either I'm getting 6 or 7 years on the market at that number, or you can pay me here to stay.
Yeah, it feels like a real major dice roll for me if Jim Rutherford's going to walk him past Friday, because look, why isn't he scoring a ton of this year? Well, how have the centers been there? Like you traded JT Miller, Elias Pettersson's been brutal. He's not a perfect player, but he does what people pay for in this league. And if he's looking around, it's kind of looking like smoldering rubble right now with what's going on in the room and the departure of guys, statuses all of a sudden of Quinn Hughes and Thatcher Demko coming up. Like, I wouldn't walk this guy past Friday. I'd go get some assets.
But let me look at this from another perspective for the exact reason you mentioned, which is, okay, Miller's out the door. We don't know what's happening with Pettersson. If the Canucks have any plans to be a competitive team, who are you going to replace Boeser with to score you 28 or 30 goals next season?
Yeah.
Where's that guy going to come from?
Yeah, the whole thing falls apart if Pettersson's not a good player. That's really the.
What do you mean if he's not a good player? He hasn't been a good player for 15 months now.
Yeah, but now that you've traded JT Miller, you can't be a playoff team a win away from knocking off the Oilers, right? Like it's now even more important that
that would lend me to exactly what I'm saying in my argument, which is you got to keep Boeser. Give him the 6th or 7th year. Who cares? Let the next regime figure that part out. $8 million a year is in the ballpark.
Yeah.
If you have any designs on being competitive, you're further away with Boeser gone. Same conversation with Brad Marchand in Boston. You could get the value if you want, but the Bruins don't punt on seasons. How are you going to get back to being a good team, a team that's on the rails, if Brad Marchand, not just your captain, but a pivotal, guy driving the bus for your team, isn't part of it?
Is Marchand what's his status now that he's on the
week
IR?
to week?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden there's how many weeks left in the season? Like
he's
17's the last day of the year. That's what, 5.5, 6 weeks out.
He's a candidate to be traded for sure. I don't think the injury necessarily halts that. I think it just adds another layer of complication to it, but I'd imagine not all that dissimilar to Boeser. The Bruins are probably making their best and final like today or tomorrow to say, here's the situation. You either want it and you're going to take the relative hometown discount, or if not, be that as it may, and prepare potentially that you could be on the move.
If I'm Brad Marchand, I don't think that's a very good team. I don't love the way they've operated in the last offseason. Lindholm, not a good signing. Were you paying attention? Zadorov, not a good signing. Were you paying attention? Swayman, you're a really important goalie. Yeah, you let that go as long as it did. It's not a max term thing. Like, he's deep into his 30s here. He's going to get more money and he can go find a better team. Like, he has to really want to be a one jersey player to stay there, doesn't he?
I don't know. I mean, let me take the alternative view from Pinder, which I feel like I live my life on the alternative side of the planet.
Probably good.
Love you, buddy. I would say Swayman had a bad year. Is he likely to do that again based on his career numbers? Probably not. They they're not a perfect team, obviously a flawed one, don't have a center, but what if Marchand stays and you actually find a way to address that this summer?
Yeah, or he goes to.
You mean to tell me that the Bruins
lots of
can't
those.
bounce back and be a playoff team next year?
No, I
Swayman
think
is
if
a
he wants one more
907.
ring, it's not happening there.
Well, okay, but you could get traded to Edmonton and it's not going to happen there either. Like,
A
who
better shot,
knows?
though,
Like,
don't you?
Maybe, but I'm looking at it going, I'd rather stay here, a place where I'm comfortable for relatively the same amount of money and see if I can get this team back on the rails.
Everyone has different motivation, right? At that point of your life.
Yeah.
He's also
And
already
still
won a
close.
cup.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that sort of leads us into the one we all want, which is Sid. But
Oh my God. I'm
Wouldn't it
hanging
be
up.
crazy?
I can't even do this
Storybook.
today. Can't
Storybook.
do it.
That's all.
Jack's pushing
Jack,
this
he's a
narrative
Penguins
on us.
guy.
All
He's a
it's
Penguins
not our
guy. He's
fault.
given his blessing. He says he'd
says-
allow it.
And it will only help the Penguins.
That's it. We should just take our trade proposals from Jack now.
Yeah, I'm in. More
Uh,
exciting than
just kind of the last one for me. I was going to ask about Vegas, but how do you ever know? It just feels like they're always the shark lurking in the shallow water, waiting to attack. But who are you keeping an eye on, or what are you hearing as far as teams? Watch for Team X on Friday to maybe make a splash.
I can never rule out the Golden Knights
Yeah.
from doing something wild. They're in on every shiny toy and object in the league, and it's part of the reason which makes them so compelling and a team you can never take your eye off of. I'll say this though, as the Los Angeles Kings are staring down a potential 4th consecutive first round matchup, giving Calgary Flames nightmares of what it was like to go up against the Oilers in the 80s, just trying to get out of your own damn division.
they beat them.
That I look at LA as like, hey, if Mikko Rantanen is actually on the move, if you're LA, you've got to move heaven and earth, even knowing that he might not commit to you and might not re-sign there. Rob Blake's teams have won exactly 0 playoff rounds since he's been the GM over 8 years. I know there was a rebuild involved there, but you've got Kopitar having an all-world season. You've got your center depth. Doughty's back. You think you solved a little bit of your goaltending issues. You either got to break through or pack it in. And I would look long and hard if Rantanen's available at LA being the team that might emerge from the rubble to get him.
Love that.
Nice. Frank, we'll be watching on Friday. Appreciate you getting on here with us today. I know we can hear your phone going crazy as it must on a week like this, but we appreciate you.
Yeah. See you guys.
Thanks, buddy.
Frank Seravalli on the Insider Hotline, a presentation of Crystal Waters Plumbing and Heating. CrystalClearCalgary.com. They're here for you. Solution for all budgets. They've got financing, affordable payment plans, whatever it takes. Get the repairs that you need done, and done by the best. Crystal Waters Plumbing and Heating.
Way to piss him off, Jack. Great job.
It was me, but fair enough. But
Was that me that pissed him off?
no, we just blamed you. Yeah, I don't know. Marchand just fascinates me. And it's almost like just being a fan of all this in the sense, like we love trades, right? What's not sexy is Sidney Crosby playing the last 20 games of a meaningless season and Brad Marchand winding it down half injured for a bad Bruins team this year. Like more exciting is seeing those guys move. So I'm not suggesting any of this stuff is super plausible, but
Would be great.
more entertaining. Like if Scott Lawton gets moved, he's a number 2 guy on the board. Like
You did list
tranquilize
yeah.
me.
You did list some guys, and it was
Well, didn't he say Jake Evans was number 4?
yeah.
That tells a story there.
So that
Two and a half.
So what we like more than that is the Mikko Rantanen's out of the blue superstar moving, right?
damn, boy.
Damn boy, indeed. You know, if Mario Ferrero moves, we want big players moving.
There would be some. There's got to be some long quiet time for Mikko Rantanen the last week.
What
When you have a 9-figure offer sitting there.
Also, the first time he's had 3 home games in a row is this week, so he's actually going to be able to hang out a bit in the city. Which, if you're going to commit for the next 8 years, you want to know what it's like. He's in Montreal and Boston for 2 weeks for 4 Nations. They were on the road a fair amount.
So what do you do? I mean, what, smoking? Is that kind of isn't like Raleigh? Isn't that like tobacco country out there? NASCAR.
Love NASCAR. NASCAR Hall
You
of
like
Fame's in
smoking
Charlotte.
and turning left.
You know what else is big?
What's big?
It's coming up. We didn't hear about it in the Pinder Report, but we will. March Madness.
That's right.
Oh, they
You
love
like college basketball?
Yeah, you like college basketball?
Huge.
Well, he's finished. They love college basketball in Finland.
And you're close there, I would think. Hey, that'd be a quick hop back over
To
to
Finland? No.
to
Greensboro's a bad airport to get out of.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go to New York.
He's got
definitely
enough
closer
dough.
than Denver.
He's got enough dough. He can just PJ.
PJ, that
I
thing.
think
Yeah.
my feel on Rantanen is that they're going to make him a very fair deal, but he is such a rare guy to ever get to free agency, and the cap is growing so much that 8th year ain't going to move the needle a ton because he'll just get more from a team in a better market that he wants to go to this summer. So if he says, I'm not ready to commit to you, I'll hang out with you. I'll give you my best for the playoffs. And if I like it and we win a lot, maybe I sign. But then the ball is now in Carolina's court. It's like, are we willing to walk this guy to UFA, or do we eat half and turn him into a huge pile? Because that's about the best rental you could ever get for 2-point-something million.
I want him traded because of the fun part of it for
Like
us.
if he goes to LA, that's just
That's great.
incredible.
That's the
drama.
thing. It's
I don't think he wants to sign in Carolina. Usually you have a fair, I mean, I know it. You go there, it's new. You're not sure.
they make the playoffs.
Aho's his buddy. They're both finished. But yeah, it's not a top
Carolina.
10 market. And
Carolina's
you're
a
a superstar.
nice city and people like it, but like I'll use Commie because he always comes up.
Yeah.
Mike Commodore does not live in Carolina.
No.
He won a cup there.
Could stay there and be a hero the
Like
rest
you
of his
could,
life. Yeah.
right? Like I don't care, and everyone's got their own personal reasons, but it's not for everyone.
The owner is there was an agents poll that just finished up in the Athletic that was published, I want to say last week, and it ranked, buildings, like facilities, management teams, ownership, markets. Carolina scored really low on the owner. And that's agents. So agents are only hearing that from their players and through their negotiations with teams. I think they're a really good team. They can win a cup with Rantanen, but I also think if you're Mikko Rantanen, what team isn't going to make space for you this summer?
Well, and isn't going to be
Like if you need 13, what team won't do that for you? Because you can pick your market. I think they all will. They'll move heaven and earth to do it.
It would be interesting actually to see what teams would be in enough of a cap pinch where they wouldn't go to Rantanen and say, "What do you need?"
Mhm.
Well, and if you are, you trade a guy. Like if Edmonton wants him, they can fit him in. It's just like you trade Bouchard. That's that. That's a guy that was probably going to make
And they
9 to
hate
11.
defenseman team.
They sure do. They need
Yeah.
more forwards.
Yeah, they really do.
No, but like I just believe like even Toronto, like, oh, they're so capped out. It's like, well, the cap's growing. Marner's money's up. Tavares is making 11. He'll go down to some hometown discount if he's there. Every team will make room for Mikko
Frickin'
Rantanen.
Tavares might go to $1 million if they're.
Why not? I mean, Joe Thornton did, and Patrick Marleau played on the cheap there, and Wayne Simmons came over and played for free. Nick Foligno did it. He's made $77 million or something like that from the Leafs. He'll stay and play for cheap, right?
He'll make $1 million a year. If they win a cup in Toronto,
Oh.
and he's part of it. He's going to make $1 million
He's a
a
hero.
year just being
He's got the pajamas. We saw
walking
him.
around the rink.
These bed sheets.
If there's any appetite to keep him, you would think he's staying.
Yes.
I'm all in with this team.
Even a team like the Rangers, like they'll play hardball and put someone in a tough spot to make like Randy can go anywhere.
And that's why a team like I'm certainly not doing the research, but where LA should be going,
Great appeal of LA.
right? Like if you've got a chance to get in front of it and become and have a player.
And so the taxes aren't great, but if it's a winning team and you got the beach, that's tough to
Weather,
beat.
beach,
Weather's unreal.
lifestyle,
Like all the guys that played in LA, where do they live now? LA. Right? It's Rob Blake, it's Nelson Emerson, it's Glenn Murray. They're all there still. They all live in LA. They played other places. They went to LA, they stayed there. That's
Really
a
like
great
LA.
city to live.
Yeah, Nelson Emerson.
Yeah.
Played in Winnipeg.
Didn't live there.
Didn't stay.
Robitaille, is he still out in LA? I bet he is.
lucky.
Wayne, is Wayne in LA? Yeah, I think Wayne is. Yeah.
Yeah. Vinanova, it is Calgary's lab-grown diamond specialist. It's the only store in town that specializes exclusively in lab-grown diamonds. And I know we got through Christmas and you got through Valentine's Day. I think there's probably a Mother's Day somewhere. But here's the thing.
Jeez.
There's probably some birthday, anniversary, something coming up. It just should always be on your radar that Vina Nova is the place to get it done, because lab-grown diamonds, they can be as much, I mean, we're talking 80% in some cases.
Wow.
The savings off of the dirty mined diamonds that they dig out of the ground. Gross.
Ew.
Largest selection of loose lab-grown diamonds. You want to get something custom made? You want to go in and say, hey, here's what.
I just want to buy a bunch of diamonds. And
Yeah, I want to have a pocket full so I could just kind of at lunch having wings.
do this.
Just kind of.
I bet you if you're planning on getting married soon, this is kind of the time of year you'd be.
Yeah, it's probably one of those
Not
things.
recommending that necessarily, but if you happen to do that,
Lab-grown diamond, same chemical composition and crystal structure as an earth mined diamond. Hard to believe we're still doing that.
doesn't
When you
make
think about
sense,
it.
Dean.
Why would
Takes
we
a
do
long time too.
how deep?
So
Where are these
long, so
mines? Like,
deep,
you got this
guys.
lab right here. You're
Yeah.
doing what? In what country? They're like warlords there.
You got some joker like Jack out there with his
Just sweating all over these things.
your pickaxe. What
Yeah,
do you use
Yeah.
to?
Steelers do rag
something,
and his
yeah.
pick. Yeah.
You don't want it. You want Vina Nova, Calgary's lab-grown diamond specialist in Market Mall. So much parking. VinaNova.com.
So much.
Flames game day. They've got the Flyers tonight. They're in Philly. Both teams kind of
Teetering.
there,
Mid, Ryan said it.
kind of right there.
Flyers, unfortunately, because the East is better, nowhere near playoffs. Flames in a playoff spot, stunningly.
Let's take a look at our Bet 365 bets. We looked at it a little bit earlier, I guess. Well, I mean, we kind of did look at it earlier.
Yeah. Playing the old team revenge spot.
The Kuzmenko goal plus 325,
Frost plus 375.
Pelche plus 700.
Ooh.
Um,
He's playing on the fourth line.
yeah, he's had less success. Pelche 4 games as a Flyer. He's got 1 helper. Kuzmenko
Played in all of them. For some reason, like the immigration stuff was a nightmare for these two. 5 games for Kuzmenko. Pelche missed another 4 since.
Kuzmenko 1 goal, 3 assists in his last 6 games. I mean, it's not terrible. He's maybe starting to acclimatize and fit in.
He was on Frank's list at the very end, too, as a guy they might flip if he could get hot.
Sure.
But that was kind of the Flames' idea all year, and he never got hot.
No, never did.
Kuzmenkov, your boy. My
So
boy
there you
now
go.
with that trade.
So we'll have this show tomorrow, and we're going to look back on it. We're going to analyze it. Deep dives.
And overtime will be thrilling tonight because what, you've got Afterburner, is that right, team?
I'm on Afterburner, so shootout.
Good.
Not sure if there's any odds on Bet365.
There
for
are,
that,
yeah, you can
but,
bet on
probably is. Probably is, yeah. That's the story. But before we say goodbye, we got some super chats. On your super chat, it is inside the YouTube chat during the course of the show. As it's live, you put some money down. We'll take your message, put it on the show, take the money, and give it to the youth centers of Calgary so they can make a difference with it. And boy, can they. Jesse Hook, fellas, happy 5-year anniversary of the Miami trip, where Okotoks crashed your fancy party and then brought COVID back to Canada. Love your pal and Barney for life, Jesse the Leech. Is that 5 years ago?
I was too drunk to remember any of those things happening.
That is what happened.
Yeah, it's true.
In Miami, donkeys crashed our work trip. We passed around bottles of Pink Whitney on the bus,
Yeah.
and everyone got deathly ill upon returning home.
It's funny because we didn't really quite understand COVID at that point.
No, it was
there
out
some
there,
sort of
but it
thing in
was-
Asia. And then salespeople were so sick they were missing weeks, and we're like, God, these guys are soft. They
Yeah.
get this boondoggle vacation, they can't show up and work. Like, we're all rough here, but come on,
I'm stuffing macaroons into Steinberg's mouth.
with your fingers
Yeah.
and other people's mouths.
Dirty fingers.
A lot of,
Well, hey, happy
Seafood
anniversary,
towers.
Jesse.
a lot of good times there.
Rhett wasn't there.
Mm-mm.
No, you weren't there.
It was Kami.
Mace. Facts. Pinder, 7 to 10. You're good. 16 and below. Shake my head. Talking draft, I believe. First round.
And below, I imagine he means 16 to
He
32.
probably means straight shite.
I'd agree with that. There's like Rantanen himself would fall into that.
7 to 10. You're good.
That's a good spot for them this year. Mace, because if it's number 16, they miss the playoffs and they give the pick to Montreal.
There you
That's
go.
not good.
Not ideal.
Well, thanks for the
Oh, I was
seven,
hoping
$7
for one
there?
more.
Clearly
there
they
one
did-
more?
Did the research.
No, I was hoping for one
Yeah,
more.
I know.
Last
Not
call.
today. Not today.
Not today.
Not today.
Not today.
So, what are you and the old man up to today?
don't know.
I heard I heard he didn't bring any of that white popcorn.
What? You didn't bring the popcorn?
Oh, yeah,
the
we had
Hullis?
some leftover.
Hullis popcorn.
He said no.
I can only fit so much in the freezer.
Well, yeah.
You drop some off at the studio, you selfish prick.
Yeah.
We love that stuff from Early's.
We might have to go to Bonton.
Don't ask him anymore. Just bring it.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Swing by Bonton. Kids hockey tonight. What do you got?
Couple
going?
practices.
Nice,
Got to get
yeah.
dialed in for tomorrow. Can't lose now, Dean. Can't lose now.
Can't
Gotta
lose
win.
now, Rhett. Big game at George Blunden tonight.
Oh,
Tiny dressing rooms. Were people smaller back then?
I don't know.
Gear must have been smaller.
Gear probably
were there-
gear
they
the
didn't have
bags
the
for
wheelie
sure.
bag. That's for sure.
Was was there 8 players on a team then?
Yeah. Well, good luck, because this is it for you too, right? You got to
Keep winning.
Mm.
It's the first of 8 in a row, Dean. Let's go.
Well, good luck to everybody out there in your city championships,
Yeah.
and good luck to the Flames out in Philadelphia, the Windy City. Yeah. All right.
That'll do it.
See you, buddies.